Hi there wargamers, Dan, Deathbringer Kane here, bringing you part 9 in my Kings of War army vlog. And something very different for this episode, where I'm starting off a new army. I'm going to continue on playing with the Kingdom of Men army, and still going to be adding to that, which is you'll probably see in a couple of episodes down the line, and Salute's coming up, so there's always a chance to buy something interesting there. But anyway, back to what this actual video is about, the start of my Empire Just army. After contemplating many skeleton models, not really wanting to buy the Go the Games Workshop route because it would have been very expensive for buying boxes of 10 skeletons at a time to make hordes, I decided to go for the actual Mantic way, which is an unusual thing for me because I don't think my Kingdom of Men army contained a single Mantic model. Which is not saying anything wrong against Mantic models themselves. Some of them are just not my taste. But the skeletons are top notch in my opinion. So I've got myself a horde box. Managed to reclaim some I gave away to Andy a while ago that he hadn't used. So he was quite gracious enough to give me them back. Also, the second unit, because there's a horde and there's 20 guys there, so I've got 60 skeletons. Let's move them out of the way for 1 second and we'll have a look what's in these little bags here. These are going to be my, Enslaved Guardians. I think it's Enslaved Guardians. Basically what the Ashabti are on the Games Workshop range as far as I'm aware. But these are actually from Crooked Dice, the guys behind 7TV, called Argonauts, which I think in the game themselves are actually meant to be some kind of construct, mechanical construct for some devious plan. So anyway, get back to the skeletons, and we'll come back to the Argonauts slash Revenants, not Revenants, that's something completely different. Oh god, Argonauts, Enslaved Guardians, there we go. I'm going to get to the unboxing of the Skeleton Horde. So, I've already taken the shrink wrap off, so this was actually shrink wrap to start with, but I figured, hey, you don't want to watch me taking shrink wrap off, unless that's some really weird obsession you guys have, which is fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their own little foibles and whatnot. So as you'd expect, we get some bases for them, which I've actually been known to people actually paint them on the sprues, so which is also an interesting way of doing it. So it's another way of not actually having to hold the models and get a line of them painted at once. So what do we get in the box? So I've already been through here, so I actually know what's here. So we've got three identical sprues with 10 skeletons on each, and one sprue with a kind of command section with like your banner, musician, and some extra gribbly bits. So let's have a close look at the commandy type sprue. So I've actually got two of these because I've got a regiment equivalent size box and a horde type box. So for a total of 60, let's let me get my reference point in the right place, so I know where you're seeing. Yeah, there we go, that'll do. And zoom a bit further, there we go. So let's have a look what we've got here. So first we've got the actual top, so we've got some legs and half torsos and some swords at the top there, so we've moved them down. Some really nice variation there. Lots of different torsos, looks like a scraggly cape there, different bodies, and you got your broken banner, because you don't want your skeletons walking around with a brand new banner, do you? So you got spears on the edges there to make them into spearmen if you want. I was actually worrying about these guys who have actually got weapons in the hand already, whether or not I'm going to have to mess around by chopping them off or not, but I've actually counted out there's only 7 spears and 10 guys, which is not a great start, but hey, it's a Undead Skeleton regiment. 3 out of 10 guys with swords and axes and whatnot, with the rest having spears won't make a bit of difference if you're trying to make spearmen. So we've got another 5 bodies up here. And you've got like bodies with no weapons, and I think this we saw something like Wargames Factory do something like this before, and you've got some nice head options which are really quite nice. So it allows you to put whatever weapons you want in there, whichever torso you want to be the standard bearer is your choice. I'm sure it might even come down to one model or another that was probably better suited to it. So again, we've got some more top upper bodies here with a hammer, an axe, and whatever weapon you want to give that guy there. And you've got another 3 guys there. And again, you get spears here. You've even got a broken spear, so if you wanted to put one that's sticking out of a skeleton, you could do. And again, you get your other side of your bodies there. So let's have a look at the non-command sprue, which I think is pretty much exactly identical, apart from you get a miscellaneous bit. That's the best way to explain it. So you get an undead rat, which is always fun. I think this is a skeleton bursting out of the ground. It's a pile of bones, which could be quite useful for Dungeon Saga. So that's if you want to collect them up and use them as your pile of bones counters in that game instead. And you got a naked skeleton, for what probably is the best way to describe that. And different heads here, and a skeleton with an axe embedded in its head. And there's also somewhere I spotted a dead dwarf head. And I can't see it. Anyway, oh, there we are. So yeah, this bit here. So I think we've actually got some different arms. Yeah, so looking side by side, you've actually got the entire middle. I say the middle section. This section here is different on this sprue compared to the other sprue. So you got like sickles, you got maces. Guy has got his arm outstretched, doing a salute of some kind, and a guy doing a hand thrust or a slashing attack, and some different heads, which is always quite good, and some kind of little tablet, some inscriptions there. So that's the skeletons. I've got 60 of them to make enough to make 3 hordes, which should be quite a mammoth task to do them. So we're going to go take I'm going to bring on the Argonauts after a brief break for me to sort it out into what they actually are. Hi there guys, welcome back after that little short break. On to the next unit, which is my Enslaved Guardians, also known as the Argonauts from Crooked Dice. One thing I've got to say before we go any further with this, I've got to have a shout out for Crooked Dice for some fantastic customer service. Now this has been, I've had these guys for several months now, so in fact I've actually wasted the time they gave me, because I bought these at a convention, one in Leeds. I can't remember if it was Fiasco or the other one, but Crooked Dice at a stall there. I had a nice cabinet. I was looking through at these models. I had a real nice chat with the guy behind the counter, and they only had 3 of these guys in separate loose bags, as it were, in their stock. But they had a kind of like a little gang or 4 starter set, which had another 2 guys in. So rather than say no, I've only got 3, that's all you want, because obviously I wanted 5 to make a horde, at least. He opened up one of his retail packs and got 2 out of the box even, to sell to me. And then, because he only these arms were an upgrade kit, you only had the 1, and I paid for the extra arms that I wanted, and he said he'd get them posted out, and I know you'd expect like something like that, you go like a week or so or something like would happen. This convention was on a Sunday. These arms were with me on the Tuesday. I mean that's some fantastic customer service there. I mean, delivering on time, so well, not on time, or promptly. There we go, that's a better word. So enough about that bit of extra excellent customer service. Let's get these guys out and have a look at what they are. So at first I'm going to look at the actual resin sculpts of these guys, and we'll get the bases out of the way because they're not important to us Kings of War people because they're round. So we'll get them away and let's have a zoom in. There we go. So we've got lots of arms, which we're probably not going to use. We might use some of them just for a bit of variation. What we've got, they've got a bit of a Greek feel to them, hence the name Argonauts. So let's have a quick look at these guys. So I think we've got probably one or two repeats because obviously they're not meant to be. Probably only meant to have two. So we've got three of the same body and two of the other same body. So then a quick look at the body type 1, I'm going to call it, the standing pose. It's a really nice, interesting take on these things. So I'm going to paint them up to be like statues, I suppose, with probably some metallic armour bits on, so that they're going to be a flat animated statue. So we've got, excuse me, interesting like statuesque type plate, which is quite fitting for what I'm going to use them for. So it's quite nice and detailed there. So we've got another one of those guys, which is exactly the same as that one. And we've got three of this guy, a striding pose. There we go. So another two of those, which we don't need to look too much at that. So then we've got some heads, which I think is going to probably play into my them being machined or statue-like, because they're kind of like well, it's different. I think they're very either the same or very similar to each other. Yeah, I think they're all the same, guys, so just in case I'm wrong. Yeah, I need to give these guys a wash. I think looks like I can see some mould release on these. They're shining at me. Yeah, so I think these guys will fit quite well as statues. So then we've got some, like, well, not like, their arms. So we've got like a grasping arm. So if we wanted to, we could have some guys grasping, and we've got some closed fists, doing punching like things. Yep, and then I actually wanted some weapons for these guys, so I bought an upgrade kit for, well, two upgrade kits for weapons, so give them like swords and tridents aren't exactly in the theme of what the Empire Dust is, but I didn't really bother. Could probably, if I really wanted to, I could cut two sides off and make that into a spear. Got a nice hammer. I might not use this net or chain thing, because it doesn't really fit with an Egyptian thing. So even got some nice bucklers, and obviously got two sets of those guys. So I'm going to go away and build these guys now, and we'll be back in a second, for you guys anyway, once I've got these built, and then after that, after I've got them painted, for a bit of a showcase. Okay guys, back in a bit. Hi there guys, welcome back after that little cutaway after a rather mammoth task. I've got all 60 of these guys assembled. I've got the little tab off the base is removed. Got them all mounted on the cork with a bit of wire, ready for pinning onto the base once they're all finished and done. And wow, there's 60 odd skeletons to make up two nicely done hordes, and well, before regiments, which will be modelled as two hordes. One thing I'm not overly impressed about is that it wasn't very easy to get that many spearmen in the mix. I mean, there's only a few spears left from the actual kit. There was some sprues, but it wasn't the spear arms weren't blatantly obvious, unfortunately, but there's quite a few that were moulded for the weapons were moulded in their arms. Like this fella here, who's got his back to us. Yeah, not the end of the world. Still, there's plenty of spears to go around to make up the numbers. I'm going to just obviously this isn't the finished formation, as it were. I'm going to distribute them a little bit better than this. And in the end, I decided to chop the tops off the standards because I don't know if it's just something the way I assembled it or something else, or it's miscast. I don't know. The top of the standards didn't look complete on both of them, so I don't think it was miscast. It's just me just not being able to see the extra part I'm supposed to glue on. So I decided just to be easy to chop them off and we'll put a flag on there in a bit. So I'll give you a quick close look at the poses. Still some quite nice poses. Got some nice overhand thrusting poses, some spear in the air poses, some at ease poses, and yeah, it's quite a lot of variation for considering there's not that many different body options. So I'm quite pleased with these skeletons. Okay, but on to the next unit, which was the Enslaved Guardians. These guys went together quite easily. The only little bad thing I had was the heads needed to be borne out a bit to get the little neck piece in, but not the end of the world. Some very nice variation poses, even though arms were really limited. I even went with a resin arm on this one here, just for a bit of variation, because didn't want too many guys looking the same if I could possibly avoid it. Go have a nice hefty hammer there. I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to do these in all entire stone or whether I'm just going to do like the body in stone and actually paint the armour a different colour. I think I'm going to definitely do the weapons a different colour. Like the statues have picked up swords, special swords for themselves and special shields. Yeah, so only time will tell what I'm going to do with them. So I'm still in love with these guys, which are my Enslaved Guardians. Okay, guys, I'm going to go in and rearrange this lot into some kind of semblance of order, and then I'll just have to start painting them. Oof, that's going to take a while to do 60 of them. Alright guys, back in a bit. Welcome back, Wargamers. I've finally finished painting this lot. It was a severe endurance thing on all these skeletons, painting 60 of them at once. Perhaps that was a silly thing of me to do, but got there in the end. Only a little bit disappointed with skeletons. I mean, a tiny bit, because there's a lot of mono pose. Well, repeats is the way I'd do it. So see the axe guy in the third rank, which you probably can't see due to the angle. Let's have a look. Yeah, him there. And he's also there. And there. Well, this doesn't really bother me that much, but and the hammer guy there and there again, it's not the end of the world. Can't argue for price. I mean, 4 regiments or 2 hordes for a little bit more than £20 odd. So it's a real steal. Fantastic. They are fantastic looking models. They look really nice on the tabletop. Quite pleased with the results. Some certain bits were a bit tricky to paint. The banner pole top, which I ended up not using because it didn't look like it was complete. I mean, it didn't even look like it was battle damaged, so it didn't even look like that. So I couldn't really do that bit. But nice models to paint. No problems with actual painting the models, and no real problems assembling them. Nice and straightforward. I did actually like the idea of being able to position the spears myself, so I could have, like put them further up off of it. And so this one here, with his hand up in the air with no shield, he's holding his spear quite high up, whereas a similar kind of pose there is holding it midway up, and it's not the great deal of difference, but it's allows you to mess around and make similar pose models look quite differently. Onto my real lost the words. My real pleasure of this took really no time at all, but then again there was only 5 models. With my Enslaved Guardians, which from the Crooked Dice range, for their 7, I think it's their 7 TV game, really worked out quite well. Went for a sandstone look, and for animated statues. So did some like gem work on them. So that's where the magic comes to animate them, and I decided to leave the eye sockets dark because I'm just lazy like that. But even though there's only really 2 different bodies, I suppose you can notice quite a bit between this guy and this guy. The actual unit itself looks quite nice. So that's my first, I say 3 units, it's like at least 6, it could be 6 units if I really wanted to. So we'll see how things goes with the Empire Dust. Keep tuned to see a bit better shots of the models for the showcase section, and hopefully you'll tune in for the next part, which will be delving deeper into the Empire Dust. Okay guys, back in see you in a bit. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already to see more stuff like this. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and as always, happy wargaming.